Have you ever wondered how movie streaming sites, video platforms, and creator websites stay online, even after getting copyright complaints or takedown notices? I mean, some of these websites host thousands of videos, get millions of visitors, and still continue running for years. So what's their secret? Are they using some hidden technology? Do they have special protection? Or are they hosting their websites in a completely different way? Well, the answer is actually very interesting. Most of these platforms use a special type of hosting called DMCA Ignored Hosting. And in today's video, I'm going to explain exactly what DMCA Ignored Hosting is, how streaming sites protect themselves from takedowns, why offshore hosting matters, and how some platforms stay stable even under heavy complaints and traffic. So if you're curious about how modern streaming platforms survive online, this video is for you. Let's get started. First, let's understand the real issue. Most normal hosting companies operate under very strict rules. If a website receives copyright complaints, DMCA notices, or abuse reports, many traditional hosting providers react very quickly. Sometimes they suspend the account, disable the server, remove content automatically, or completely terminate the website. And for streaming platforms or video sharing websites, that creates a huge risk. Because imagine building a large video platform, getting thousands of users, and then suddenly your hosting provider shuts everything down overnight. That's why many streaming platforms avoid traditional hosting providers completely. Instead, they move toward offshore infrastructure and privacy-focused hosting environments. This is where DMCA Ignored Hosting comes into the picture. Now let me explain this in a simple way. DMCA is basically a copyright law from the United States. But some hosting providers operate their servers in countries where US DMCA laws don't directly apply in the same way. These providers usually host servers in offshore jurisdictions like the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Romania, or other privacy-focused regions. Instead of instantly removing content after receiving complaints, these providers often review requests according to local laws and legal procedures. And this gives streaming platforms more operational stability. Now, this does not mean illegal content is allowed. That's important to understand. Professional offshore hosting providers still follow local laws and regulations, but they usually avoid automatic shutdowns and unnecessary takedowns that many mainstream hosts perform instantly. And that's one of the biggest reasons why video hosting and streaming platforms prefer offshore hosting solutions. Now let's talk about the actual protection strategies these streaming and video hosting platforms use. Because hosting is only one part of the system, large streaming websites usually combine multiple layers of protection. Offshore hosting infrastructure. The first layer is offshore hosting itself. Their servers are hosted in privacy-friendly jurisdictions where content complaints are handled more carefully. This reduces the risk of sudden server suspension. Distributed server systems. Many platforms don't store everything on a single server. Instead, they distribute files across multiple VPS servers, dedicated servers, CDN networks, storage clusters. So even if one system faces issues, the entire platform doesn't go offline. This improves both uptime and security. DDoS protection. Streaming websites receive huge traffic spikes, and sometimes attacks. That's why they use advanced DDoS protection systems to keep websites online during heavy traffic or malicious attacks. Without strong protection, a streaming platform can go down very quickly. High bandwidth servers. Video streaming consumes massive bandwidth, especially HD and 4K content. That's why these platforms usually choose servers with high-speed uplinks, NVMe, SSD storage, large bandwidth allocations, and optimized network routing. Performance matters a lot in streaming, because buffering destroys user experience. Privacy-focused payments and operations. Some streaming site owners also prefer privacy-focused hosting providers that support crypto payments, minimal personal data requirements, offshore server deployment, anonymous VPS systems, This gives them more operational privacy and flexibility. Now you may notice that many offshore hosting companies use Netherlands servers, and there's a reason for that. The Netherlands is known for strong internet infrastructure, excellent global connectivity, privacy-focused hosting environments, and major internet exchanges like AMS-IX. This helps streaming platforms deliver fast video speeds globally. So it's not only about privacy, it's also about better performance, lower latency, strong uptime, and stable infrastructure. That combination is extremely valuable for streaming websites. And honestly, if someone is searching for a reliable DMCA Ignored Hosting provider for streaming infrastructure, offshore VPS hosting, or privacy-focused servers, one name that gets mentioned very often is QloudHost. What I personally like is that they focus heavily on offshore hosting solutions, Netherlands infrastructure, privacy-focused VPS hosting, high-performance NVMe servers, DDoS protection, and crypto payment support. They also provide offshore shared hosting, offshore VPS, dedicated servers, and streaming-friendly hosting infrastructure. So, for people researching offshore hosting seriously, QloudHost is definitely a provider worth checking out. And yes, I've added the QloudHost link in the description below, so you can explore their services yourself. So overall, the reason many streaming and video hosting platforms survive online is not luck. It's because they use offshore hosting distributed infrastructure, privacy-focused systems, strong DDoS protection, and hosting providers designed for high-risk or high-traffic projects. Hopefully this video helped you understand how all of this works behind the scenes. And if you still have any confusion or questions, feel free to comment below. I'd love to answer them. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more informative hosting and privacy-related content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.